So, I just need to know, am I the a-hole for refusing to pay for my daughter's wedding after finding out her fiancé has a deep dark secret? Well, he thinks he can keep it hidden, but I'm going to let everybody know his secret. I remember the day I held 12-pound Leah in my arms for the first time. It's been hard labor, and God had blessed Mila with a new life. Well, we were elated to have a beautiful girl in our family. I did everything for my lovely daughter, who was born an artist. I encouraged her in her ambition, and before I knew it, I was attending her graduation ceremony. And that's when I met her boyfriend, Aaron. He was a good-looking boy and was respectful towards me and my wife. Mila and I liked him instantly and told Leah that she had chosen well. My blessings was all the two needed, and after 2 months of graduation, Aaron proposed and my daughter accepted. The time had come for me to spend lavishly for my princess's wedding. Leah had planned everything, and I funded her request without any question. That's when Mila told me that I should hang out with Aaron more and just learn about the boy who was going to be our family member. She wasn't happy about Leah settling down so soon, but our daughter was in love, and that's all we needed. I sought out Aaron separately and showed my willingness to get to know him just better before the big day. Aaron appeared ashamed as he turned me down due to his tough schedule. He told me that he was helping his father out at the local business and was aiming to open up another branch of the family's jewelry store. He was a hard-working boy and mature enough to start his own business and settle down. I was impressed by Aaron, and that's why I oversaw tiny details in Aaron's behavior, which were clearly red flags. With the wedding drawing closer and Aaron's unavailability bothering me, I was anxious to know about Leah's love, but he was always too busy to hang out. Mila showed her concern, and I agreed with her that Aaron was definitely being suspicious. If he loved our daughter so much as to live his entire life with her, then why couldn't he take out time to meet her parents? I didn't want to show my daughter that I was concerned. Casually, I asked her about Aaron's family business, and she told me that the family owned a jewelry store in the city's commercial area. I got a name from her and decided to visit the store myself. My whole world came crashing down on me when I greeted the owner of the jewelry store. He did not resemble Aaron in any way, and upon my questioning, he told me that the shop had nothing to do with the West family, nor did they know who the family was. Right then, I started questioning everything I've learned about Aaron West. I didn't want to ask my daughter and break her heart, so it was up to me to investigate. Even though Mila had asked me to confront both Aaron and Leah, I told her it was better to pretend as if we knew nothing and investigate ourselves. I couldn't see my daughter's heart in pieces nor her eyes shedding tears. My longtime friend introduced me to a private investigator, and I paid the man a huge sum of money just to gather information on Aaron. With proof, of course. I was guaranteed that my work would be done in no time, and that I could trust this investigator. 3 days passed, slowly, and it took forever for the private investigator to contact me with what I'd required him on. The details he gathered were worse than I imagined. Aaron, well, he was hiding his criminal past. Mila assured me that Leah did not know about Aaron's illegal activities, nor the criminal charges he was trying to prove fabricated. I wanted to believe her for the sake of my daughter, but at the same time, I couldn't stop wondering about Leah being unaware of Aaron's life. Still, I stopped myself from telling everything to my daughter. No words could explain her happiness, and I wasn't going to be the one to destroy it. If I were to protect my daughter, I had no choice. No choice but to confront Aaron separately. Once again, it took a couple days before I could catch him alone after he's dropped off my daughter at my house. He was visibly annoyed to see me. I tried to be as polite as possible when I told him about everything I've discovered, but at that point he becomes furious and starts threatening me right away. I tried to tell him that I had no intention of coming between him and my daughter, as long as he came clean in front of her, and let her be the judge of everything. Aaron had caused enough commotion to make Mila and Leah come running out of the house. Leah was confused and hurt, but we both managed to convince her that it was nothing but a bit of disagreement. Later, I called Aaron to remind him of my demand. That's when he promised me that if I'd keep doubting him and asking questions, then he'd take Leah away from me. It was clearly a threat, and I knew that I had to talk to Leah. She needed to know what exactly she was getting herself into. Leah had not taken it well, just as I'd expected. My pure heartly girl just felt betrayed and angry. She accused me of going behind her back and investigating her fiancé, and she even told me that what I did was against family values, and trust was broken, and there's no way she was ever going to forgive me for it. Her words sliced my heart, but I held my ground for her sake. Under no circumstances was I ready to let her go live with her corrupted fiancé. Ew. I showed her the proof. The documents of Aaron's criminal charges and other activities as well he was suspected of. Leah, in distress, burned all the papers. She kept screaming about how I'd betrayed her trust in his family. She went as far as to tell me that if Aaron were to find out what I've been up to, I could go to jail. She was right, but I wasn't afraid of what could happen to me. The only thing that worried me was my daughter declining the trust in me. Eventually, there was none left. One thing led to another, and my daughter started blaming Mila and me for trying to control her life. She told us how her friends had told her to move out when she hit 18 years old, but she had still decided to stay with us. Now, she just simply wanted out. And we could not do anything knowing that she tried to find solace in the man who was playing with her heart. In her fury and pain, my daughter called off the wedding. She returned every penny that I spent for her event, and she made it crystal clear that she did not want any of my help, monetary or otherwise, nor did she want my support in her future events. Then Leah left us. Now, can you tell me if I did the right thing? Where did I go wrong, and most importantly, how do I win back my daughter's trust and heart? How can I show her that whatever I did was for her sake and hers alone? Update number 1. I'll be honest, my troubled heart has finally found some solace after reading all the comments on my post. I'm glad that I chose this platform to share my story and to find care and guidance to set things right. I apologize for not responding sooner, and in 2 weeks since I first posted, much has changed. I'm here to tell you about it and ask for your counsel once again, but before that, there's a few comments which I believe I need to answer. Those who've opposed my decision to hire the private investigator, well, let me ask you this. What would you have done if you had been in my shoes? All the information Aaron gave me was a lie. A dead end, and the last thing I wanted was to ruin my daughter's happiness. So I wanted to investigate secretly, and honestly, the only way to do that is hiring a private investigator. Had I approached Aaron myself, he would have covered any possible gaps in the story, and I would have been left with nothing but his words. As a father, I couldn't have given Leah my permission to live her entire life away from us, and with a guy we knew next to nothing about. Secondly, there were some who disliked my idea of sharing everything I'd found about Aaron with Leah instead of going to the police. I could have gone to the police, but this matter would have turned worse and everyone would have known about it. It would have broken Leah's heart, even more than now. Besides, I didn't want the police to approach Mila and Zoe for questioning. They'd have done nothing wrong, and it would not have ended here. Aaron, given the life he's leading, would have hired some expensive lawyer to keep him out of jail, and then he would have come for me and possibly even my daughter. Trust me, I thought a lot about my decision. I discussed everything with Mila, my wife, and my best friend before doing what I did. Yesterday, Aaron found me in front of my house when I was leaving for work. I was startled and a bit afraid to see him there, but it was his expression that put me at ease. He looked apologetic, almost defeated. He tried to convince me that he loved my daughter with everything he had and that he wanted a chance to redeem himself. So he starts to beg me to keep everything from Leah from now on because he couldn't afford her to be upset with him. He promised that he'd do whatever I asked, and he was looking forward to becoming a good man worthy of Leah. I was shocked at the revelations and Aaron's willingness to change himself. So guess what? Instead of turning him down, I asked for some time to think about his request. And well, that's why I'm here again. After reading the whole story, do you think that it'd be wise to give someone like Aaron a second chance? Mila thinks that Aaron's playing a game with us now, because people like him, they just can't brush off their past and start anew. I want to believe her, I really do, but at the same time I find myself thinking about my daughter. She'd been too excited for her big day and I robbed her of it. What if forgiving Aaron and giving him a second chance will recover the trust between us? What if Aaron indeed has changed because he loves my Leah too much? Well, I'll be looking forward to your comments and will welcome your suggestions about how to deal with this matter. Update number 2. What I've discovered about Aaron was insignificant compared to the information I have now. I'm so glad that I acted on the advice given by one of you. I sought out the same private investigator once again and requested him to find something more about Aaron. Something he hadn't discovered the first time. He must have noticed something on my face, which is why he refused to accept additional charges for his request services of how much I'd insisted. So, I received more information on Aaron West earlier today, and it's helped me reach a decision rather quickly. I'm going to share that information here, hoping that you get the full picture and support me in the decision I've made. Aaron West isn't only a criminal, but he's a liar. He's been cheating on his first girlfriend and looking forward to starting a second family with Leah. I'm not going to let it happen, even if it means never seeing my daughter's face again. So Aaron has 2 sons from his first girlfriend, and I don't know anything about the other girls he's played with. His girlfriend and his sons live with his own mother in the countryside. Aaron does go visit them occasionally. If Leah knows about this, then my daughter is going to destroy someone's home, and this is something my daughter will never do because I haven't raised her like that. From the information my investigator has gathered, Aaron keeps a tight hold on his family, all of his family members too, and they're rarely spotted outside of the home. His sons are 3 years old and twins and spend their time in the house. My private investigator has managed to click only a couple of shots of them from a considerable distance, which is why I can't make much of their features, nor determine their living conditions. I feel like I'm back to square one. Right where I've been when I received information on Aaron West. Once again, I can't go to the police, even with the extent of the proof I have, because when I'd have to explain the reason I've done such a thing, and Aaron can just easily sue me for perhaps emotional abuse and who knows what else. Not to mention, Leah is living with him. The two have moved into the apartment above her brand new art studio, and from what I've noticed, they get along fine together, even if they seem a little estranged sometimes. I've hurt my daughter once, and I can't bear to hurt her again. She was disappointed in me then, but she'll absolutely just hate me now. I don't think I'm strong enough to stand my own child's rejection. With this new turn of events, I'm back here again and seeking your advice. I don't want to hurt Aaron's first family or bring them into the light. They've done nothing wrong, and Aaron's choices should not affect the lives of his children. Still, I can't let matters be. I want to find a way to sort this mess without anyone getting hurt. But will it even be possible? Update number 3. After much deliberation and, sorting through almost every one of your comments, I've decided to meet with Leah. We've had another falling out before this time, and I believe that things will eventually turn out for the better. I caught Leah alone when she was working in her studio, and Erin was nowhere to be seen. At first, she was furious to find me on her doorstep, but when I pleaded with her to listen, she let me in. She told me to make it quick because she had an exhibition coming up. Truth be told, I was hurt that she hadn't told me about her first art exhibition, nor had she invited her mother to it. I told her as much, and she just brushed my words off with a wave of her hand. But I did see her hand shaking and her lower lip started to quiver. She is my princess after all. Politely, I asked her about her plans with Erin. She told me that he's explaining to her that nothing is as it seems. He's insisting that he was mistakenly accused of crimes his friend committed, and now he's not working with his friend anymore. So I asked Leah if she believed him. Well, to this she didn't answer. At that moment, I felt a spark of hope that not everything was lost. Following our conversation, I placed all the data I had on her fiancé right in front of her, and I told her to go through it when she had time. She didn't answer, nor did she throw the file in the trash. I just kinda left it there for her. Just a couple hours go by. I've received Leah's call, and she sounded exhausted and dejected, but there was decisiveness ringing about in her tone that made me hold my breath throughout the conversation. She apologized for troubling us over the past few months, and she assured me that she regretted not listening to me earlier. Then she thanked me for doing so much for her, even if it was wrong of me to approach the matter behind her back. She insisted that she was a big girl now and can handle her own matters. Leah hadn't stayed still, and after she hung up, she did consider my words and started her own investigation just to prove my doubts wrong. Her approach was different from mine, and when she figured out that I wasn't lying, that's when she collected all the evidence against Erin, enough to make him serve a lifetime in jail. My information on his secret family helped her, and now she's broken the engagement and left Erin's case with lawyers. I was amazed and felt proud of my daughter, who'd shown more maturity than I'd given her credit for. But it all washed away when she told me that she won't be contacting us again. Zoe cursed and left the room, and Mila pressed her palm over to her mouth and, just to stifle her sobs. I, on the other hand, couldn't move. I believe that I've heard Leah wrong, and asked her to repeat what she just said. Everything Leah said made sense. We'd watched all over her, all her life, and when she graduated, our love had made her stay with us. She'd been perfectly safe with us, but sheltered, and it was this reason why she'd fallen for Erin so easily. She had not experienced the world that way most people did, and to do that, she knew that she had to step out of our shade. She blamed us for suffocating her with our love, and held us accountable for ruining her perfect plans. I don't blame her. I almost begged her to rethink her decision, but Mila stopped me. We needed to let her go. Even though her decision to cut all contact with us wasn't reasonable, I believed that she needed time. So here I am, a man who's lost his princess by his own hands, and is left with nothing more but regrets. What do you do? What do you think of this wretched man's story now? Update number 4, it's been a while. Hey, last I posted, and, there was something that's brought me back here again. Just when you think that everything has been sorted out, something happens to change the entire viewpoint and give your experience just a new angle. Wow, I haven't heard from Leah in weeks, but she'd invited Zoe to her exhibition. The sisters are still in contact with each other, and through Zoe, I get to know how my daughter's doing. But it isn't Leah that's brought me back here again, it's Aaron's family. See, Aaron's first girlfriend and mother of his 2 sons, Libby Morgan, reached out to me 2 days ago. She was summoned by the courts one day of the hearings. That's where she found hope when she saw my family. When I'd first seen the pictures of Aaron's family, I just assumed that they were just like any other family, living their days quietly without much awareness of Aaron's whereabouts. But oh boy, I've been wrong. So very wrong. When Libby showed up at my doorstep, I was shocked to see the condition she was in. She had dark circles under her eyes and a few cuts along her jawline. She wasn't a mother of 2 sick children, nor someone who'd survive an accident. No, she was the victim of domestic abuse. Libby began thanking me for getting Aaron back. She told me that her parents had given up on her when she'd grown the desire to move out of their house at 18 and move in with her classmate and boyfriend, Aaron West. In a couple of years, Aaron had figured out that Libby's parents didn't care much about her. They welcomed her on the yearly holidays and sent her gifts when she couldn't make it, and that was about it. Once Aaron was sure that Libby was alone and at his mercy, that's when he started showing his true colors. Aaron West. He was an abusive man, especially whenever he was on drugs. He let all his frustration out on his girlfriend even when she'd been expecting his twins. Libby told me that she'd considered taking her own, life so many times, but she could not. Not 2 lives growing inside of her, and sometimes she hated the babies. Other times she loved them. She was torn between love and hatred for a long, long time. Having 2 beautiful boys was what changed her life forever. Their beautiful smiles and pure souls just killed the fight in Libby, and she decided to stay. Once Aaron was tired of Libby and had set his eyes on Leah, he seldom visited the kids, ultimately giving Libby some room to breathe. She'd gone as far as to speak to her parents, help asking for it, but they sent her away saying that she was mature enough to deal with her own disaster. They didn't want to get involved in their daughter's life, which made Libby, feel lonely. Libby also told us that she thought of running away, but she had no funds to support her children. Aaron's abuse had made sure that she didn't get jobs anywhere, and simply was confined to the house with children and the maid whom I'd taken as Aaron's mother. Then she told me how she could not help but be thankful towards a stranger who hadn't given up on his daughter, and in doing so he freed Libby, freed her as well. Truth be told, her words absolutely destroyed me and made me cry, and any regrets that I had regarding my meddling in my daughter's life, poof, disappeared. I offered Libby my support, and Mila urged her to move in with us. Still, she was able to get back on her feet. Just until then, Libby fell to her knees and cried. She could not stop thanking us, strangers, who had taken her in when her own parents had not. After listening to her life struggles, Mila mentioned how lucky Leah had been, and she prayed that my daughter realized everything we've done for her. All I can say is that fate has mysterious ways of working. While I was upsetting to my own daughter, I was saving someone else's life. I questioned myself and felt down with the changing events, but after months I realized the purpose of it all. My struggles had not only been for my daughter, but an answer to another woman's pleas. So, what do you think of that? Do you think I should try to contact Leah again and tell her about Libby? Zoe thinks I should let her sister be, because I've done my part. Now it's Leah's decision to find her way back to us. So, here I wait. Update number 5. It wasn't over. Right when I thought that everything was in its rightful place, something else happened. It's been 2 months since my last post, and Libby's living with us. Mila loves having her twins around, and Libby is working hard at her new job. But this is not what has me, back here again. It's Leah. And Aaron. As I'd initially suspected, Aaron was in contact with one of the best lawyers in town. After 2 months of court hearings and long meetings with his lawyers, Aaron managed to prove himself not guilty. Yesterday, he stepped out of the prison, hell-bent on getting back at my family. The first thing he did was seek Leah out for revenge. Earlier today, the twins insisted that I take them to the new mart for new toys. Libby felt ashamed, but I assured her that it was going to not be a problem. The boys are sweet and obedient. Thankfully, they take after their mother, and with Mila's support, they're gaining weight and having more opportunities to learn. I was at the toy store, telling the twins about a particular toy car they were interested in when they both dropped everything and hid behind the counter. I was startled and confused at their sudden behavior and apologized to the owner before dragging them out. To my horror, they were shaking and appeared terrified. I assured them that they were safe with me and asked about the reason behind being so scared. They said they saw Aaron, their dad. In the next few moments, I didn't think. I urged the owner to look after the boys and gave him Libby's number. Then I took off in the direction the boys had seen Aaron disappear. A few minutes later, when I was making my way down to the first floor, I spotted him, making his way to the stationery section on the ground floor. He looked disheveled and angry. My heart dropped the moment I realized that it was Saturday, and Leah often came to shop for her supplies on the weekends. I just ran blindly through the crowd, not even bothering to apologize to those I bumped into. The guards noticed my haste and suspected that something was wrong. They shouted at me to stop, but I couldn't listen to security. All my focus was on my daughter and her safety. At that moment, I heard Leah scream, right when I entered the stationery section, and Aaron had my daughter pressed against the paint rack, had his hands around her throat. She was struggling against his grip while he spewed profanities. Within a blink of an eye, I punched him in his face, and before he could strike back, the security caught him. Leah, she leaped into my arms and cried as I've never heard her cry before. My heart cracked at the sound of her grief and terror, but I was glad my daughter was safe. Libby and Mila met us when we were headed to the police station. There were many witnesses at the time to the assault, and many had heard Aaron's promises about what he would have done to Leah had I not come in between them. Leah held on to me the entire time and did not even utter a word. I told the police everything. Every single thing I knew, and that's when Libby came forward with her case of domestic abuse. In the previous 2 months, we'd encouraged her to find protection, but she had not. Hours later, Aaron's test reports revealed that he had been on drugs before the assault. Following it, the police dug deeper into his business, and with the piling evidence mounting, I was assured that Aaron, well, to say it lightly, will never be free again. Now I'm here sitting alone in my bedroom and telling you about an unsettling experience I had. Still, I feel as if everything has happened to someone else. I was just nothing more than a witness. But the pain is there to remind me of the agonizing past few months. I find solace in my daughter's laughter as they tell each other stories about their school days, and Libby, who's telling my wife about a recipe she's heard from a colleague friend. I can hear Libby's sons playing video games on the computer, right up there in the living room. Let me assure you that I would not have been able to make it through without your support throughout this whole time. When I first approached here, I was hesitant about posting. I was afraid of the negativity in the comments and many other things, but after months of sharing my story and finding support in your words, I do believe it was the right decision. Now I'd love to hear and offer my own support to those who need it. As I move forward in my life, I'm sure that my family won't forget what we've been through together, and I'll definitely remember those who guided and supported me. Update number 6. Final update posted by OP 2 months later. Hey guys, didn't think I'd post again, but I'm here with some good news to share with those who have been with me since the start. My Leah! She's getting married. This time I'm certain that she's found the man of her dreams. Her childhood friend, Oliver Austin, who's been there with my daughter for a long time. I've known Oliver since he was 15, and I'm good friends with his father. When Leah told me about Oliver's confession of the love he's carried for my daughter for years, I was overjoyed. I gave her my blessings instantly, and it was surprising to her. That's when she told me that, well, I was a great planner, and she wanted no one but me to plan her wedding. And that's where we are now, planning Leah's dream wedding. Libby is still a part of our lives, and, well, she's moved out, and now she lives with her new boyfriend. Well, and Leah will be staying in the apartment over her studio by herself, the one she purchased to live with Aaron, but it was never meant to be. She changed the entire decor, erasing the signs of the man who tried to come between her and me. Sometimes my daughter comes and silently sits beside me and just watches me read your comments with a smile. She's as grateful to your amazing people as I am and always will be. I'm even more convinced that fate has a weird way of bringing people close together and staging the events of our lives. Everything that has happened was meant to happen for us to reach our destined places. So, that's it. Once again, thank you. I couldn't help but feel bad for Leah during this story, but I do want to ask you guys one question. If you were OP and you were the father of Leah, what exactly would you do to try to keep her safe without trying to overstep her boundaries? Go ahead and drop your comments down below. Let's talk about that, guys. I hope you enjoyed reading the story today. If you're new to the channel, my name's Mr. Reddito. I read stories every single day. And if you want to see more stories like this, make sure you subscribe. I will catch you guys in the next one. Have a fantastic day.